So in this video I'll be talking about conservative vector fields. What are conservative vector fields? Well, whenever you have a vector field that is of the form xyz or f of xy is equal to f1 comma f2, or in this case it is f1 comma f2 comma f3, then we say that a vector field is conservative if f can be written as the gradient of some function f. So that means f can be written as fx, fy, fz, where f is some function. So these are partial derivatives with respect to x, y and z. So if that is the case, then we call that f is then we say that f is a conservative field, vector field. So it is important, it is the calculations when we integrate some functions over some space. The conservative vector fields are easier to deal with than non-conservative vector fields. So that we will learn when we learn about Stokes theorem. And Stokes theorem basically says that if you want to integrate a conservative vector field in some space, you just evaluate the potential function at the boundary points. That is something that we'll learn later. So for now, potential function is the function f whose gradient is the vector field capital F. So we are given the following example: fxy is xy comma minus x square y, and the question is it conservative? So as we had as mentioned in Dr. Blank's video, if you want to find out whether a vector field is conservative or not, and if it is two-dimensional, then you just check if let's say f is f1 comma f2, then it is conservative if and only if the vector field is conservative if and only if. So all this happens in a simply connected domain. I won't explain what are simply connected domains. You can find it in Dr. Blank's video, but it basically means for two-dimensional cases that there are no holes in the domain. So we say that this vector field is conservative if and only if the partial derivative of the first component of the vector field with respect to y is equal to the partial derivative of the second component of the vector field with respect to x. So if this happens, then it is conservative. If this does not happen, then it is not conservative. So let us apply this in our case when f is equal to xy comma minus x square y. So it is we just know what is the value of f1. Well, f1 is xy and f2 is minus x square y, the second component, and the partial derivative of f1 with respect to y is x, and the partial derivative of f2 with respect to x is minus 2xy. So it is clear that f1y is not equal to f2x. So that means f is not conservative vector field. And so there is the second example. So let's say that we are given the following vector field, which is 3x square y square plus 1 and 2x cube y. So this is the case when we are dealing with two-dimensional functions. Later I'll show you how to determine whether a vector field is conservative or not in case of three-dimensional functions. So for now we'll deal with the two-dimensional case. We do the same thing. f1 is equal to 3x square y square plus 1 and f2 is equal to 2x cube y. So f1 of y is 6x square y and f2 of x is again 6x square y. So it is clear that f1y is equal to f2x. So that means f is a conservative vector field. So we don't need to check if the domain is simply connected or not, because we are talking in whole of R2. So these functions are polynomial functions, and they will always be defined in the entire domain of the vector field in the entire domain of R2. So f is a conservative vector field. So now we have to verify if it is indeed a conservative vector field. That is, can we find out a function, can we find out a scalar function f such that gradient of f, which is the partial derivative of f with respect to x and with respect to y, is actually equal to v or not. So we have deduced that it is a conservative vector field. Can we find out a function f such that this happens? So we have did this calculations earlier also, when we were asked to find out a function whose gradient is equal to a certain function that we were given. So if you remember that calculation, we just integrate first with respect to x, and then we add a constant that is dependent on y, and then match the constants. So I'll show you this technique once again. So let's say v is equal to 3x square y square plus 1 comma 2x cube y, and if indeed there were such a function f that were to satisfy fx is equal to 3x square y square plus 1 and fy is equal to 2x cube y, then since fx is equal to this, so that means f of xy is equal to integration of this function with respect to x plus some constant of y, some function of y, because when you take the partial derivative with respect to x, this will vanish. So instead of keeping a constant here, we put a constant which is a function of y, not only x, but which is not a function of x but only y. So there is no x involvement here, because when you take the partial derivative with respect to x, this will vanish. So you have to integrate this partially with respect to x. That means you have to treat y as a constant here. So the integration will be x cube y square, since we are treating y as a constant, plus x plus c tilde of y. Let's say c1 tilde of y. And now similarly, since fy is equal to 2x cube y, so now we want to integrate with respect to y, but so 2x cube y dy, but now we want to add a constant with respect to x, because when we differentiate this with respect to y, this will vanish. So now f of xy is equal to the same thing here, we get x cube y square plus c2 tilde of x. So you want to compare this equation and this equation. You just need to compare them, don't add them, subtract them or anything. So as you can see that this and this are matching terms here, and this function of only x2 has to be equal to x, because there is no x here, but there is an x here, and since both of them are equal to f, so that means this has to be equal to x, and since there is no function of y here, so this has to be equal to 0. So that means f of xy is equal to f of xy is equal to x cube y square plus as I said, c2 tilde x is x and c1 tilde y is 0. So this is our function. So you can check that gradient of f is actually equal to capital F. So that is how you solve this question. So now in the next video I will be talking about how to find out the whether a vector field is conservative or not in case of three-dimensional functions.